They were living the American dream.
It was all about family.
They wanted to provide a loving home.
They would have fun. They all looked happy.
Until a terrible crime plunged them into a nightmare.
There's like blood everywhere.
That is something that I'll never forget.
I'm still in shock.
The investigation will uncover a well-kept secret.
How's your relationship then? Been okay or?
I mean, like normal stuff.
Friends with benefits, I was off and on.
What you don't want to do is get caught trying to cover up for your friends.
We didn't force it. I didn't force any of that.
And when the truth finally comes out, it will be even harder to believe.
The whole thing just seems senseless.
She had an ulterior motive. She had a different plan.
This cannot be true.
It destroyed the family.
April 13th, 2018. It's Friday the 13th in Deltona, Florida, a quiet bedroom community right outside Orlando.
Friday the 13th, we always think something bad is gonna happen. It's very superstitious.
Not that anything bad usually happens in Deltona.
It's just a middle-class, suburban area, some businesses, but mainly residences.
It's quiet. You don't really hear too much of any violence or crimes or anything.
But on this Friday, the quiet is about to be shattered by the wail of sirens.
911, what is your emergency?
My roommate was found.
The caller is 37-year-old Katrina McConnell.
She was the roommate of Edwin Daniels and LaToya Woodard.
And according to Katrina, she's just found Edwin and LaToya in the hallway of the home they all share.
Edwin's been stabbed, and LaToya is crying over him with blood all over her. LaToya is in shock. She's not sure what happened. She can't really talk.
Does she know if he's breathing?
She says she don't think so.
Katrina hands LaToya the phone, but she's unable to provide any additional information.
I need you to tell me what happened.
He said he was gonna come home and
I can't, I know you're upset, but I can't understand you.
All LaToya was really able to communicate was her desperation to help Edwin.
I'm coming, honey. I'm coming, honey. Listen to me, okay?
Originally from New York City, Edwin Daniels was a middle schooler when he moved to Florida with his family.
It was better raising them here than raising them in New York.
It was a big transition from what we were used to of New York school versus Florida. That was the transitioning.
Once he adjusted well. He made friends easily.
He was always an outgoing person, loving. Anything you ask him, he'll go out of his way to get it done.
That's the type of person. He was very loving, always smiling. He don't like argument, he don't like fight. He was there, a people person.
He was all about making sure that everybody else was always happy.
Edwin also had a knack for electronics.
He always loved technology, always. So he always fixing things, putting this together, taking this apart.
He was tech savvy. Anything you wanted to know about gadgets, phones, he knew.
He started working at one of the phone companies. He worked for them for a long time. He loved what he did, and he worked hard. He worked a lot. He would work sometimes 14, 16 hours.
What little free time Edwin did have, he usually spent in church.
Church was really important to him. I myself, of course, was in ministry in the church, and because of that, he wanted to help out when they had activities.
We had a group for our young adults, and we all would do activities outside the church.
And it was through helping with one of those events that Edwin met LaToya Woodard in the spring of 2007.
Let me help you with that.
LaToya and her whole family actually attended the church.
She had a strong foundation.
Although when she met Edwin, LaToya's life was in turmoil.
She went to the Navy after she graduated high school. After getting discharged from the Navy, she was married, but they ended up getting into a divorce.
She had to kind of pick up the pieces all over again, build back her life again. She needed somebody to be there for her.
It was a need Edwin gladly filled.
Edwin has a soft heart for certain things, and sometimes he sees things that we don't see, and he was able to be her helper, her knight in shining armor.
They would laugh and they would go out. They were having a good time.
He really loved her.
Before long, the couple married, and LaToya became part of the family.
Over the years, we became closer to where we hung out. I stayed the night. She would come pick us up. We would go eat, go lunch, girls' days.
Edwin and LaToya also started a family of their own.
Those girls were his heart. Like, he would do anything for them.
You would come from work, take them on the bicycle riding. You would take them for pizza. He was always there for his children.
He worked hard to provide for them, too.
His goal was to purchase a house.
Although it did take a little sacrifice.
Now that the kids were older, LaToya took a part-time job at a sandwich shop.
To also save on the mortgage, they ended up getting a roommate.
She was an old friend of LaToya's from when she was in the Navy.
And by the spring of 2018, Edwin and LaToya could be proud of the life they'd built for themselves and their daughters.
They seem to be grateful, happy, feeling success for everything they have worked hard for.
But now, tragedy threatens everything Edwin and LaToya had struggled to achieve.
Edwin has been stabbed. There is blood all over the entryway.
They're coming, honey. Listen to me, okay?
When sheriff's deputies arrive moments later, Katrina and LaToya meet them outside.
I know. Listen.
Please.
Take a deep breath for me. Take a deep breath.
Oh my God. Where's my baby? My baby.
Officers realized that the two daughters were still in the home upstairs.
The police enter the residence,
but they didn't know if the assailant was still there. After more than 10 years together, Edwin Daniels and LaToya Woodard were living the dream. They worked hard to be able to provide a loving home for their two daughters.
They would barbecue, they would have fun. They all looked happy.
But now, their dream life has become a nightmare.
The couple's roommate, Katrina McConnell, came home finding LaToya hysterical and Edwin covered in stab wounds.
Where is he bleeding from?
Like all over.
When police arrive at the scene, LaToya and Katrina inform them that the couple's children are still in the house.
Oh my God. Where's my baby? My baby.
police enter the residence and find the children who are together sleeping in a bedroom.
They brought them out and brought them downstairs. Then he went back up to finish sweeping the house to make sure it was all clear.
With the scene secure, first responders turned their attention to Edwin.
His body was covered in blood.
He was stabbed in the back of the head, the back of the neck, his back, his chest, pretty much all over his body.
And there is nothing first responders can do for him.
Edwin was pronounced dead at that time.
As the crime scene tape goes up around the house, detectives arrive and attempt to talk to LaToya.
LaToya is clearly distraught.
She can't really state what happened.
However, they are able to speak with Katrina.
Can you kind of tell me what happened tonight? I mean, what kind of brings us here? I don't know.
All she knows is that she went up to go get some groceries and came back to a murder scene.
She was hysterical. Was she standing in the door or was... No. I came in with the key, you know.
When she came in, LaToya was shouting, not making a whole lot of sense.
Katrina says that's when she'd found LaToya in the hallway leading to the garage, cradling Edwin's bloody body.
Did she say anything to you, or she was just like, I don't think he's breathing?
Katrina had called 911 and, in the process, pieced together some of what LaToya had seen.
What'd she tell you? She said she was upstairs sleeping, and she said when she came down to check on him or whatever, the door was open. And she found him like that, yeah. Okay, so the front door was open, but you had to use the key to get inside? So what did she do, lock it behind her, or? I guess so.
Then, according to what LaToya told Katrina, she'd gone through the living room to where Edwin lay.
It was a little like utility hallway right inside the entryway coming from the garage.
Edwin, are you here?
Asked who might want to harm Edwin, Katrina says she has no idea.
I really don't know, like, his friends or who he, you know. You're more friends with her. Right. Okay. Anything that you can think of that might be beneficial to helping us figure out what happened here, call us. Okay.
After giving detectives a quick version of events, Katrina accompanies LaToya and her daughters to the hospital for an evaluation.
LaToya went to the hospital because she was hysterical.
LaToya was hyperventilating, dry heaving, obviously in a state of shock.
While they're transported, news that the police are at the house spreads.
My youngest daughter said, Daddy, LaToya's mom is on the phone. She wanted to speak to you. So I got the phone call, and she said something terrible has happened to Edwin.
We'd start calling around to different hospitals. No one had anyone by his name.
I'm thinking, okay, this is not good. So my husband went to Edwin's house.
I still see it, driving around the corner, blue and white lights flashing, yellow tape around the crime scene, sheriff cars there, deputies there.
In a panic, Edwin's brother approaches the officers at the scene.
All they would tell me is that they were waiting for the coroner.
At this point, he's able to realize that Edwin is dead.
Didn't know how, didn't know what had happened, didn't know the fullness of it.
Nonetheless, Edwin's brother passes the devastating news on to the rest of the family.
When my son told me what happened, I was just out in space. You know, it really went off.
I felt like I had no bones in my body. I just fell to the floor.
While the family grieves, detectives try to piece together how Edwin died.
This crime scene was extremely violent and gruesome.
There was blood spatter on the walls. It went all the way up to the ceiling. The floor was covered in blood. It looked like he fought.
The drywall looked like it had been kicked in, so it also appeared there may have been a struggle.
To detectives, it appears Edwin had been attacked as soon as he walked through the door leading to the garage.
He never makes it out of that foyer area. We know that because the blood was mainly contained in that area.
But who had ambushed him?
Searching around Edwin, the detectives found a possible clue.
There was a Rastafarian hat that happened to be underneath Edwin's body.
It was the kind designed to hold long hair or dreads.
Could it have belonged to his killer?
Detectives investigating the murder of Edwin Daniels may have uncovered a clue the killer left behind.
After taking a thorough look at the crime scene, we found a hat underneath Edwin's body.
Its location indicated it may have been knocked off during the struggle.
On the 911 call, the couple's roommate Katrina had suggested there could have been a break-in.
I think somebody might have broke in or something.
Maybe someone was lurking outside, saw Katrina leave, and thought the place was empty.
Had Edwin come home and caught the intruder in the act?
Hey, we might have to heat these up.
Maybe after killing Edwin, the intruder ran out the front door, leaving it open in his haste to escape.
They could not have left out the garage because his body was up against it, and Edwin was not a small man.
Although if the killer was an intruder, it's unclear how they gained access to the house.
There was no sign of forced entry in the home. There were no pry marks. There was no broken glass.
Nothing of value appears to be missing either.
That could be explained by the fact that Edwin surprised the intruder, though.
There's no obvious evidence of a murder weapon, but detectives do collect several knives from the kitchen.
Since it was a stabbing, they would need to rule them out as a possible murder weapon.
The detectives pretty much took all the knives away from the home.
Processing the scene takes hours, but as they're wrapping up, detectives get word that LaToya has been released from the hospital.
After she goes to the hospital and she's cleared, she's brought to Volusia County Operations Building, and she's interviewed by detectives.
Sorry, even under these circumstances, you have my condolences and your husband. Yes.
She had a little bit of time to bring herself down because she went to the hospital.
We want to talk to you a little bit about, what happened.
But first, they have some more forensics to do.
When she's interviewed, the police take photos of her and the clothing that she's wearing.
After they take her clothes, they change her into scrubs and take the clothing in for evidence.
Once LaToya's changed, detectives ask her to walk them through the events leading up to the murder.
LaToya stated that she went to work that day and she asked Katrina to pick up the kids that afternoon.
At about 7 o'clock, LaToya got home from work. Then she relieved Katrina, who ran out to run some errands, while LaToya put the kids to bed.
Then, as she was about to lay down to rest, Edwin called her and said he was going to pick up some fast food on the way home.
He said, I'm going to leave in a few minutes. I just said, just wake me up when you get here. It's like that's our normal routine.
But according to LaToya, that night wasn't normal.
She said that she woke up a little after 10 o'clock and started wondering where Edwin was.
Because I was like, usually he's here by now.
She said, I decided to go check on him. He's probably asleep on the couch.
Sometimes he falls asleep downstairs watching TV.
She goes downstairs and she sees that the front door is open.
How open? It's a little bit open. You just barely push it and then it's closed. And then I'm looking around downstairs.
According to LaToya, that's when she found Edwin just inside the door from the garage, lying in a pool of blood.
I knelt down on my knees. I just held him.
LaToya says she was still cradling Edwin when she heard Katrina come through the front door a few minutes later.
When she realized that Katrina was in the home, she did scream out to her to call 911.
After LaToya walks them through what happened, the detectives turn to broader questions about her and Edwin's marriage.
How's your relationship, Daniel? Is it okay? Or?
I mean, like normal stuff. We fight.
Yeah.
There were some ups and downs, like any relationship.
For the most part, they've been fairly good with y'all.
Yeah.
She said that despite their minor disagreements, Edwin had been a devoted husband.
LaToya says she was just as devoted to Edwin.
Are you currently seeing anybody else? Or have a relationship with somebody that want to do something like that?
No.
In fact, LaToya says she can't think of anyone with reason to hurt her husband.
Do you have any problems with anybody?
No.
When detectives move on to take Katrina's official statement, she echoes much of what LaToya had said about their marriage.
She pretty much agreed that They argue sometimes, but it's pretty much just normal arguments.
Just a normal, marital,
As for herself, Katrina said that she really kept pretty distant from Edwin.
I'll be cordial him, but not, didn't want to be too much protective with me, like living there. I didn't want her to think.
We're coming across that.
Right.
When detectives move on to questions about the murder, Katrina's statement also mirrors LaToya's.
She said she'd go pick the kids up from school.
Then, according to Katrina, she left to run some errands when LaToya got home at around 7 o'clock.
Everything was fine at the house when you left?
Right.
She said Edwin was not home. It seemed like both stories pretty much checked out.
But after the detectives finish taking Katrina's statement, they get a phone call that could turn the investigation upside down.
A friend of the family reaches out to the sheriff's office and says, hey, I got this information.
He said, hey, I want to let you know that LaToya actually has a boyfriend.
That wasn't all the friend had to say either.
The guy that I guess she's supposed to be seeing left his hat.
A family friend has just come forward with information about murder victim Edwin Daniels' wife, LaToya Woodard.
He says that his sister informed him that LaToya has been seeing someone else on the side.
In light of Edwin's murder, he thought it was something that the police should know.
We met him at our sheriff's office and interviewed him.
My sister sprung that on me. You know she got a boyfriend. I'm like, whoa, she got a boyfriend? She said, yeah, she been messing with him for the longest. I said, wow.
The friend says his sister also has information that may implicate LaToya's alleged boyfriend in the murder.
She told me about the hat that was up under Edwin.
The witness said his sister had talked to LaToya after the murder. And during the discussion, LaToya had brought up the hat detectives had found at the crime scene.
And there's little reason for detectives to doubt that what he's telling them is true.
Detectives didn't mention anything to LaToya or anyone about the hat.
When the detectives follow up with the man's sister, she confirms that LaToya told her about the boyfriend's hat at the crime scene.
That kind of scared her because maybe she might think it was him that did it, or I don't know.
Okay. So it would be speculation that he was there and it ended up there.
Was LaToya right? Could her alleged boyfriend be Edwin's killer?
According to her friend, the man's name is Robert Andrews.
Okay, and what did she say about this guy?
That was her guy friend.
Do you know what a guy friend is?
In her circumstance, I don't know if it was a boyfriend or I don't know if it was sexual. I don't know anything. She just said that was her friend and they were cool and he works with her.
He works with her?
Now that detectives have identified a suspect, they attempt to track him down.
The detectives head over to the sandwich shop to confront Robert. However, Robert was off of work that day.
Although the store manager is able to confirm that Rob and LaToya are romantically involved.
In fact, based on what Rob told the manager, it was more than just a fling.
The manager, in fact, did mention that LaToya was Rob's fiance.
I think he got her pregnant too. Really?
The manager was informed that LaToya called in sick because she had a miscarriage.
You know if Rob's the father? I think so.
The manager also says that Rob was behaving strangely the day of the murder.
He was having some sort of breakdown.
It's just not fair.
He had a meltdown, acting hysterically in the middle of his shift and asked to leave.
You know what that was about?
No, but LaToya took the rest of the day off too.
They leave for several hours before the murder.
LaToya hadn't mentioned any of this during her interview with police.
But the timing seems significant to detectives.
Had Rob been upset about losing the child, causing him to lash out against Edwin?
Thank you for your time.
A miscarriage could definitely bring a lot of emotions for both the mother and the father.
And when the detectives received the results of Edwin's autopsy, it's clear his killer had a lot of rage.
He was stabbed 34 times, 16 times to his head and his face, and an additional 12 to his extremities and his abdomen. He has a depressed skull fracture. His tongue was lacerated. His esophagus was lacerated.
We've not seen where a random person continued to stab somebody that many times. This was personal.
It takes weeks, but when detectives finally get Rob in an interview room, they have plenty of questions.
They even brought in the prosecutor. They really wanted to put the pressure on him.
We spoke to him in length, about 2.5 hours.
During the interview, he admits that he and LaToya were involved.
Tell me about that. He told us they had been dating since January of that year.
Contrary to what the manager told detectives, he said this was nothing serious.
Friends with benefits, that was off and on.
He also says they were never really engaged.
Did you ever buy her a ring?
No, I didn't buy her a ring.
You guys just like pretend that?
Yeah, we like to role play.
He also claimed to have no recollection of a miscarriage.
You don't remember her ever talking to you about having a miscarriage? Texting with you about it?
I'm not sure.
No. Would you remember if she did tell you she had a miscarriage? Is that
It's a
something
big thing.
Right.
But no, I don't recall.
He used the excuse of he doesn't have a good memory.
But he does remember going to LaToya's house for sex.
Do you remember when you were at the house?
No.
In response, detectives show him photos of the hat they recovered from the crime scene.
Does that look familiar?
Do you think you've ever worn that hat?
Yeah.
That particular one, not one like it.
No, I don't like it, I know for sure. But
How about this one in particular?
I have a lot of hats.
But will his memory be any better when it comes to murder?
Would you remember an event like your girlfriend's husband being murdered?
I think so, yeah.
Did you kill Edwin?
Rob Andrews, the man detectives suspect may have murdered Edwin Daniels, has admitted to having an affair with Edwin's wife, LaToya.
He informs the detectives that he's just been friends with benefits for some time.
But will he admit to anything else?
Did you kill Edwin?
I have nothing to do with that.
Rob also claims to have an alibi.
He said he was home at the night of the murder.
Did you go straight home from work?
Yes, I went straight home.
Okay. Did you ever leave your house?
No.
After the interview, the detectives reach out to Rob's parents for confirmation.
Rob lives with both of his parents, and they did confirm that Rob was home the night of the murder.
However, detectives don't just take their word for it.
We got a search warrant for his historical cell data to include locations.
His sister spoke with him that night, around the time of the murder.
The location data from the call places Rob at home.
So a good 30 minutes from the crime scene.
Which makes us believe that Rob was not the killer.
But could Rob's phone records reveal who was?
In the 2 weeks before the murder, Rob and LaToya had over 100 text messages. Rob would refer to LaToya as a goddess.
He clearly was in love with her.
It appears that LaToya was just as enamored with Rob.
LaToya would refer to Rob as her king.
She was clearly in love.
And with Rob ruled out as Edwin's killer, that left only one member of the love triangle.
Detectives believe LaToya carried out this murder so she can continue a relationship with Rob.
Now suspicious of LaToya, it isn't long before detectives find evidence that her relationship with Rob did continue.
I found out that he moved out of his mom's house, and then I found he was living with LaToya.
They moved in together less than a month after Edwin's murder.
And LaToya had moved even faster to collect on Edwin's $100,000 life insurance policy.
Within a week of his death, she put in a claim.
She was denied because the insurance company, they wanted to see if she was a suspect in this case. So I told her, as the case is going, she is a suspect, and so she was never issued the money.
However, for LaToya to be more than just a suspect, detectives need more evidence.
Moving in with Rob looked bad, but it was hardly proof she killed her husband. And Edwin was the family's primary breadwinner. So could you really blame her for trying to collect the insurance money?
What detectives need is a witness, and they may have one. LaToya's friend, Katrina.
Katrina was the friend and the roommate who called 911 after coming home and finding LaToya crying over Edwin's body.
At least that's what she'd said at the time.
Detectives are like, is there something else that Katrina's not telling us?
To find out, the detectives bring her in for another round of questioning. And this time, they turn up the heat.
But what you don't want to do is, get caught trying to cover up for your friend because she is your friend.
Right.
So if you heard something or saw something or know something, now's the time to let us know.
Put on the spot by detectives, Katrina admits that she hadn't told them the whole truth.
Katrina tells the detectives that she lied and that she actually did see Edwin home prior to her leaving for the grocery store.
I left, as soon as he got me.
Why'd you leave?
I just went to Walmart. I left. I went out, drive around a little bit with him, and then
Because they were fighting?
they always arguing about something.
She said that she heard them arguing by the foyer, by the kitchen area, and her door was closed and she could still hear them arguing, and she didn't want to listen to them, so she left.
Do you know what they're arguing over?
I have no idea.
But when she came back, Edwin was dead, and LaToya was hysterical.
Did she say anything?
She was out of it. She was like every other word I could understand.
As damning as Katrina's admission is, it's still not enough to put the knife that killed Edwin in LaToya's hand. But detectives don't give up.
Going over the crime scene and the evidence that was collected, he noticed that a knife was found in the kitchen sink. It was a unique-looking knife. The blade itself had 2 prongs, and those prongs were a certain distance apart. He ends up taking photographs of that knife and giving them to the medical examiner, and she's able to tell that some of the injuries are consistent with the knife.
But that's not the only thing detectives notice while reviewing the evidence photos.
The detectives also took a closer look at the shirt LaToya had been wearing that night.
The shirt had blood on it. The blood on the shirt was Edwin's.
Which was understandable considering she was the one who supposedly found Edwin.
But had she done more than that?
The detectives noticed that some of the blood stains appeared to be impact spatter.
That was a critical piece of evidence.
Whoever was wearing that shirt was within close proximity of the forceful bloodshed.
The only way this could have happened is if LaToya was near Edwin while he was being stabbed.
What?
Detectives investigating Edwin Daniels' murder have uncovered what appears to be a critical piece of evidence against his wife.
Some of the stains on LaToya's shirt appeared to match up with various impact stains from Edwin's stabbing.
That tells us that she was in close proximity at the time of forceful bloodshed.
It's enough to arrest LaToya for her husband's murder.
With the forensic evidence, the detectives secure a warrant and bring LaToya in.
We tried to interview her again, and she refused to talk to us.
The arrest is welcome news for Edwin's family.
They were very excited that there was starting to get the little bit of the justice for Edwin.
Even though that did not bring Edwin back, we wanted whoever did this brutal, senseless, evil deed to be persecuted.
Although the identity of Edwin's killer comes as a surprise.
Everybody was shocked. We were stunned. We couldn't believe it.
I was totally floored. I personally had no idea that there was a boyfriend involved, or that she supposedly tried to claim the money like almost instantly.
When LaToya goes on trial in February of 2020, Edwin's family packs the courtroom, determined to see that LaToya answers for her crimes.
Edwin's family clearly loved him. They would show up to every court hearing, 15, 20 people every single court hearing.
Everything else was not important. This was important.
According to prosecutors, LaToya's horrific act was motivated by her lust for Rob.
You can tell that based on the text messages, based on the fact that after the murder they were together, they moved in together.
And her lust for money.
Their insurance money was very important to LaToya because with her and Rob working in fast food, it would have been quite challenging to continue the lifestyle that LaToya had when she was with Edwin.
So on that Friday the 13th, LaToya made a fatal decision.
When he came home, they're in the foyer, through the garage. She's waiting there.
Hey, we might have to heat these up. Toya?
LaToya attacks her husband with a knife.
Katrina, hearing the commotion from upstairs, left out the front door.
She had heard them arguing.
But that night, it wasn't an argument. It was a slaughter.
He was stabbed over 30 times.
He clearly fought for his life. His hands were just brutally cut up.
But there was no stopping LaToya.
He come through the garage and she ambushed him there. He was not expecting that.
I think she had the upper hand advantage.
Then, after a few horrific moments, it was all over.
Once Edwin was dead, LaToya went into the kitchen and washed off the knife and waited for Katrina to return home.
For the prosecutors, the blood spatter on LaToya's shirt proved she was a killer.
She's there when Edwin is being stabbed.
When it's the defense's turn, LaToya's attorneys contend that her boyfriend Rob was Edwin's killer.
The defense tried to argue that he was there trying to kill Edwin and LaToya was there trying to intervene.
That would explain both the blood found on LaToya's shirt and the hat detectives found at the crime scene.
The prosecution counters by claiming there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for the hat.
On the wall of the hallway where the murder occurred, there was a row of hooks.
The hat may have fallen off during the struggle between Edwin and LaToya, and that's how it ended up under his body.
LaToya was plotting from the very beginning to pin this on someone else by telling her friend it was Rob's hat.
But will it be enough to erase any reasonable doubt when the case goes to the jury?
My heart was racing. I was nervous because I'm like, okay, what if they believe what she said? What if they believe the boyfriend did it?
We just kept praying and saying, God, you know, give them the information or the evidence that they need.
In the end, the family's prayers are answered when the jury finds LaToya guilty of second-degree murder.
She was sentenced to life in prison.
When they announced the verdict, it was a silence and then it was screams.
I literally fell off the bench. I'm like, yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
I said, Lord, I thank you, God, for answering prayer.
She got what she deserved.
But even if LaToya is where she belongs, it doesn't make up for what she did to their family.
I feel sad for the girls.
They lost not just one parent, but both parents.
The two girls ended up with LaToya's mother.
And they have little contact with their father's side of the family.
She calls and she brings them around for holidays and birthdays so we can at least see them.